Welcome to Amplify with Amanda Sapp. If you've been carrying a lot, this episode is for you. This show is about real people and real tools, how leaders, creatives, caregivers, and community builders stay grounded while life keeps coming. We amplify stories that move us from surviving to living, one honest step at a time. We're live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook in the Asapp Media Group. So please drop a heart if you're choosing you in this season and share this live with someone who's been strong for too long. Today's guest is a master certified mental health coach, the founder of Shawnti Refuge Journals, and author of Quiet as Kept. She is known for her raw, relatable approach to mental wellness, and she creates a guided journals and resources that help people get out of survival mode and back to themselves, honestly and unapologetic. Shawnti Refuge, welcome to Amplify, Amanda Sapp. Thanks so much for being my guest this morning.
Thank you for having me. It is absolutely a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. You are no stranger to me. I am glad to have you here on the live with me. But for someone who is just hearing about you for the very first time, tell us a little bit more about you.
Okay. Hey y'all. I am Shawnti Refuge, and I help people tell the truth about what they've been avoiding so they can actually heal. I am a master certified mental health coach, author, and like you said, creator of guided journals that don't let you lie to yourself, because that's where most of us get stuck. And my work really comes from my own experience. Back in 2018, I had a full breakdown, anxiety, depression, all of that. And instead of numbing it with medication, like I call it, I started writing through it. And that writing turned into my healing. So now I create spaces for other people to do the same thing. But for real, not the cute version of healing that we all see. It's not aesthetic, it's ugly. But that's what I do.
In 2018, how did you know that what you were experiencing was anxiety or depression?
I ain't know. I just know one Sunday morning I woke up and I was not feeling like myself.
Mm.
I'm thinking, okay, well, it might be that time of the month, so I get a little cranky. But no, this got worse and worse every day. It got to where I was angry, very, very moody, crying, screaming, yelling, cussing, all of that. And it never went away. It just got worse. So after about a month of that, I was like, okay, let me go see what's wrong. Something's wrong. And I went to my primary care doctor, and I told her what was going on. She was like, oh, you sound like you're a little depressed. Let me give you this medication. I'm like, I don't want that. But I took it anyway, and she told me to come back in about 6 weeks to let her know how it helped. And I said, this ain't working. I didn't say it that nicely, but I said, this ain't working, because it wasn't. It was just like popping candy. It wasn't working.
Mm.
And she was like, oh, I'm not saying something wrong with you, but I need you to go see a psychiatrist. And I'm like, no, Black people don't go see psychiatrists. Because, when you hear that word psychiatrist, you think crazy. And I'm like, I ain't crazy. I'm just a little moody. Something going on. And she told me to go. So I trusted her, my primary care doctor, for years. So I went, told that doctor the same thing a month later. So this is now 2 months of me acting absurd.
Mm-hmm.
And I could not control my emotions. And I went to her and told her the story. She gave me a prescription for it. And I'm like, what is with y'all in this medication? I don't want this. I didn't say it that nicely, but I finally went to a therapist, and it took my third therapist to actually sit down and want to help me. And she did. And she is the one who said, okay, you have severe anxiety and depression, and I'm going to help you get through that. And she did, without medication, with talk therapy. And she introduced me to guided journaling. So that's how I got on the guided journaling train. And I ain't got off it yet because it works.
I want to commend you here, and then I want to mention some. I want to commend you here for
Thank you.
deciding to continue to move forward, even when people gave you a diagnosis that you weren't necessarily comfortable with. And especially even deciding to take medication and saying, this is not working for me, just advocating for yourself, because a lot of times you just don't know how. So the fact that you did, and even in the state that you were in at the time, really shows your dedication to get well or better, I guess.
Absolutely. Because I didn't want to be, I pictured myself as an older person, like an old lady with a
Mhm.
handful of pills and a glass of wine. And I said, do you want this to be your future? Because we all know medication, when you're on it, you get used to it. So you got to get a higher dose. You get used to that, you get a higher dose. So I'm looking, I could see my older self doing this.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I didn't want that. I did not want that.
Um,
It
in,
was
in, pre- in preparing for this interview, in preparing for this interview, I saw a report that said that adults reported ongoing anxiety, depression, and most recent in 2024, data showed 12% regularly felt anxiety and 5% regularly felt depression. This is in a CDC report. I'm wondering to myself when people say, "Oh, I'm fine," and like, what does that usually mean in real life?
they lying. That's what it means. It's because, and probably not intentionally. One,
Mhm.
they either say I'm fine because they don't want you in their business,
Yeah.
or they say I'm fine because they really don't know what's wrong.
Hmm.
So that's just like a go-to sentence. I'm fine.
Hmm. Did you ever say that when you were battling depression?
Yes, absolutely. I'm
Mhm.
fine. Lying down. I'm fine. But I wasn't. And my insides were like, girl, you ain't fine. Stop lying. But
Mhm.
no. And it
Yeah.
was about, protection, because you can't just tell anybody that, oh no, I'm crying and I don't know what's wrong, because you can't trust everybody with that type of information.
Mhm.
So that's the go-to phrase. I'm fine.
Now, as we speak about the go-to phrase, what are your personal survival mode signs, like physically, emotionally, and relationally?
Ooh, closing up, putting that wall up. I have this wall that, depending on who you are, it might come down here. I can see you at eye level, but I ain't
Mhm.
gonna let you all the way in, and it'll come down. It just depends on the person and the environment. Um, Isolation.
Mhm.
Like I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to see nobody. I don't want to hear nobody's voice. Leave me alone. That type. Go in the room, get under the covers, shut down, and tune everybody out. Um, Disassociating, things like that. Being quiet, just being quiet. Because at one point when you are feeling so down, it's like you feel like nobody's listening to you. They hear you, but they're not listening. So you just be quiet.
But that is always the truth. The people are wanting to listen to you. Is it just you aren't sharing?
Because
Or
we feel like they're not gonna understand.
I understand.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people bring people confuse being the strong with being healthy. What's the hidden? Did you hear my question?
No, I did. I was waiting for you to unfreeze. You had froze.
Oh,
Sorry.
my comment to you is a lot of people confuse being the strong one with being healthy. What's the hidden cost of that role?
Oh, child, you are right on my right on there. The cost of I just got through doing a workshop on this. The cost of being the strong one is anxiety, depression. You are putting everybody else and their issues first, and nobody's tending to you. Like, who checked on you today? You get resentful, and you're tired. You're tired in every sense of the word, mentally, physically, emotionally. You are tired, and everybody else's cup is full, and then you turn around and look at yours, and it's like it's empty, and nobody's feeling it, but you're responsible for filling it. And I tell people all the time, you fill your cup first, and anything that's left over, falling over that cup, that's what you give everybody else. You choose you first, because if you don't choose yourself first, who's gonna choose you? Nobody. Nobody's gonna say, "Hey, girl, put yourself first." So if they do, they don't mean it.
Have you ever been in that role? Were you
Yeah,
ever placed?
yes. Absolutely. My whole entire life, since I was 14, because I had my kid when I was 14. So yes, I had to, put her first, and then growing up, being an adult, I was taught that, we were taught to, okay, push through it, work through it. You got stuff to do. You got a house to feed. You got to go to work. You got to take care of this. You got to, feed them. And then, yeah. So that's how we grew up, to put everybody and everything else first. And don't worry about our problems. They'll go away. No, they won't. They just
Can
compile.
you describe what it's like having a child at 14 years old?
It ain't fun. I can tell you that. That is when I quit celebrating my birthday, and I could not stand Christmas because, first of all, everything is about the baby. You immediately quit being a teenager, and you're expected to be an adult. But it's like you raising a kid, and you're a kid yourself, so you don't know what you're doing. So thank God for my mom and my grandmother, because child, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. There's one thing to play with my Cabbage Patch dolls and comb their hair and put them away. I couldn't do that with a real baby. I had to feed her, clothe her, take her to the doctor. And I'm like, oh my God. And I didn't have a car. I couldn't even drive. Couldn't drive, but, equipped to have a kid. So, but there was no shame in it, though. Nobody made me feel bad. I thank God for that. They're okay, this is how you do it. Let's go. But, for my birthday, I would get presents and it'll say to Shawnti. But when I open it, it's a onesie for a baby. What am I going to do with this? Yeah. So that's when I started not liking my birthday. That is Christmas too. I would get a present, say to Shawnti. I open it, it's for the baby. Okay. Why you didn't say to the baby? And give it to her? Why are you saying, no, I ain't want that? I want my Christmas present like y'all normally give me. So everything changed, especially when you're a kid. And this was before Teen Mom that come on that channel. Yeah. That was before then. So that I could not stand that show because it glamorized, no, it ain't nothing glamorous about it. I remember chasing my baby daddy down the street for diaper money, because I was doing it by myself. And yeah, it was not a good time. I do not recommend. No.
Do you ever do speaking engagements about things like that? Because as you just mentioned, how the teen moms and all this other kind of stuff, it is glamorized. So do you ever talk about what it would be like to not do that, or how do you emphasize that the struggle of being a teen mom to other young girls who could be in that same situation?
I absolutely do talk to. That's my preference, actually, to talk to little girls starting in middle school, because I was in middle school. While I'm sitting in the class telling you not to have sex, I was already pregnant. So yes, I talked to, and didn't know it at the time though, but yes, I talk to kids. I talk to them about, I don't even start with don't have no babies. I start with self-esteem, self-love, self-awareness, what love is. Don't let these little boys tell you this, because if they tell it to you, they telling it to everybody else, because they don't know. So I get to the root of it before it comes to sex. And then when I get to sex, I tell them my story and the stuff I had to go through and how hard it was, because it is not easy at all. Not at all. And we already kids and dependent on an adult. So it's double time when you have a kid, because now it's you and your kid. Your kid wants something, you don't know what to give it. A 14-year-old don't know what colic is, So you constantly dependent on somebody. So yeah, I tell my story, and they laugh and think it's funny until they jaw drop when I get down to the realness of having a kid as a teenager.
Wow. It is. I am excited to know that your family was supportive as far as your mom and your grandmother. I do know people who cast out of their religion or put away, all those types of things that happen. So it's great that you had a support system the way that you did. Now let's talk a little bit about your journaling and the path that you decided to take to help push you through the anxiety and depression and those types of things. Do you ever look back at the journals and say, I can't believe I did this? Or do you ever look back at the journals and say, look how far I've come? What is the thought? Okay, yeah. Tell me a little bit
both of them. When I first started journaling in 2018, that's what my therapist had me writing, and I ain't want to write. I will be honest. I'm like, I don't want to write this stuff down. I already know what happened. Why am I writing it again? But she showed me a different way. Not just dumping on the page. Like she gave me specific prompts to answer. So, and I still have them. I'm over here looking at them now. I would go back every now and again. I remember the first time I went back and looked at my writing, I could not, my handwriting was different. The word choices were different. It was like I was reading somebody else's work. I didn't know who she was. And I was like, oh, I have grown. That's how you recognize that you had some growth, because that wasn't the same person whose entries I was looking at, because that was scribble scratch. You could tell by the handwriting she was mad, she was upset, she was hurt, and all that other stuff. But when you go back, I'm not like this no more. Thank God. Yeah, that's how you know you've grown. Because some people will think, okay, what am I writing for? Blah blah blah. And then I tell my clients, go back and read your entry from 6 weeks ago. And then the light bulb comes on then, because their answers from the first time are not the answers today. Because I get a lot of, didn't we answer this already? Didn't we? Yes, answer it again. And they don't understand what I'm doing while I'm doing it, but how the light bulb comes on when I say, go back and read what you wrote. And I'm like, oh, okay. Then they start crying.
Mission accomplished.
Yes, that is my goal. That's absolutely my goal, to make somebody cry. Not out of, ha ha ha, I made you cry, but it's like you're seeing yourself now.
There's
You're
some
seeing that
introspective work
breakthrough.
going
You're
on.
seeing that growth. Yeah, you're healing.
Yeah,
That's my goal.
healing.
Mm-hmm.
How did you know that you were healed?
When I went back and started reading and stuff
No,
that
okay,
I wrote,
that.
and then the way I handle things.
Mm.
See, and I always say, like, I still get approached with, things that aren't pleasing. Just because you're healing don't mean you're not going to face adversity. So how I know I healed is I don't respond the same way that old Shawnti would. Old Shawnti would knock you out and say and ask questions later, if I ever ask questions. Or I remember in another interview, I told somebody that my purpose used to be, when I woke up, how can I make somebody mad today? That was my goal. That used to be my goal every day. Ooh, what can I do to make somebody mad? Or who am I going to make mad today? Now it's, who can I serve today? Who can I help today? So that's a big difference right there.
Major difference.
And I still get faced with adversity to this day.
Yeah.
And my behavior has definitely changed. My mindset has changed. And I always reflect back at how I used to be versus how I am now. And always ask, how can I improve more? Every day I want to be 1% better than I was the day before.
Love that. You mentioned that you were looking at a prompt or some kind of plan of what to write or how. For someone who doesn't know what to write, what are 3 starter points that get them to get people honest fast about what is going on?
What am I lying to myself about? That's the number one question people do not want to answer. It goes beyond, that I'm skinny and I'm not, or whatever. It goes to, are you lying about the state of your relationship? Are you lying about where you are in about having boundaries? Are you really tired? Are you just lying about it? Or something you have outgrown but won't let go of? Like, I know it's over, but it's fine. I can make it work. It's fine. Yeah. What am I lying to myself about? That's the number one question. And it takes the person to be honest. If you're not going to be honest, don't answer it.
Let's talk a little bit about grief. How does it show up when people don't think they're grieving?
Attitude. We call it attitude. Attitude, mean, angry, mad at the world. And grief is not only about losing someone and they pass away. You can grieve people that are alive. Like you lost a friendship, lost a relationship. And, It just depends on a person. Sometimes, most of the time, though, it's anger. It comes out in anger.
Mhm.
Other times, it's sadness, withdrawn, just mundane, no personality, no life in them. You could tell, always in the eyes.
How do we as supporters intervene, or do we at all
You
in that
don't intervene.
process?
You don't intervene. The best thing you could do for someone who is going through grief, how can I support you today? Let them tell you. Or you could, if they don't know, you need someone to listen. Do you need advice? Or do you just want me to sit with you in silence? That's it. And let them choose whatever, however they want you to support them.
What do you think keeps people from getting support?
Trust. Absolutely trust. I can say that because when you hear support system, you think about family, close friends, that good cousin you talk to every day. That's not your support system. And I hate to bust people bubble. No, I don't. But I'm a bust people bubble and say that is not your support system. Your support system is going to be find you a circle of people. It could be your therapist, your coach, your counselor, uh, support groups which have like-minded people in that same, everybody's going through the same thing. Some are further along than you are. And listen, share, talk, and and you feel safe doing it. And a lot of times when we hear support, we think, oh yeah, mama, let me tell you this, but my mama is not my support system. Because as soon as I hang up the phone, she would go and shout to the world everything I just told her. That is not your support. That's not your support. She will. Hey, mama. But for real, that is not your support system. It is, you have to be able to trust the circle that you're in. It don't have to be a big circle. It could be 2, 3, 4, 5 people at max. But it has to be someone who, like for me, for instance, I'm a support system because I've been where the person has been. I'm not going to give you advice. I'm going to help you through what you're going through because everybody's viewpoint is different.
Mhm.
Everybody's experience is different. But I'll tell my business if it helps you get through where you're going through. I don't mind.
Yes. Can you tell me a little bit about healing without guilt and what boundaries are necessary to create in order to do that?
Oh, you're gonna be guilty. You're gonna feel guilty for healing because we have spent most of our lives in survival mode. So that's what we're used to, surviving, surviving, surviving. So when you get to a place where you're ready to heal and you start healing through those things that made you be in survival mode, you're going to feel guilty, very much so. But that's just a temporary feeling. It's very temporary. You got to keep going through that. And after a while, you know, people are going to, the main guilt point is people are going to fall off. They're not going to want to be around you no more because you're not broken. You're not, messy and gossiping. And you don't want to hear that no more when you're healing.
Mhm.
So you're going to lose some people. And that's going to make you feel bad. Like you don't talk to your friend from kindergarten no more because y'all not on the same playing field. Once you are healing, like if you're here with someone and once you start healing, you do this. If your friend or whoever ain't healing too, eventually y'all gonna start doing this.
Is
So
that
there's
a conversation that
no
you have?
purpose. Yeah.
Is that a conversation that you have with someone you love that you know it's you're healing from, even though they want to maintain a relationship with you? How
Yeah.
do you communicate that, or do you at all? How does that work?
If you feel like the relationship is worth saving, yes, you communicate that. You don't go at it like I'm healing and you need to come heal too. No, you can't do that. It's a certain way that you speak to that person or invite them to the things that you are doing. Like, hey, I tried journaling. You want to try it? We could do it. I don't want to do that. That's your answer right there.
Mhm.
And it's okay to let go of people. There's what, almost 9 billion people in the world now. So I understand you have an emotional tie to that person, but the people that leave gives you room and space to, grow and learn and receive those people who are meant to be in your, everybody ain't meant to be here. Everybody doesn't get access.
Can you give a small daily journaling routine that works, that is in 5 minutes or less? Some people just don't like to write. Some people are still on their phones. or they use an iPad or whatever. But
Mhm.
something that can take 5 minutes or less. Can you give us a daily routine that we could use?
Absolutely. And you could do this in any time of the day that suits you. If it means getting up 15 minutes earlier, get up and, write, do it prompts. If it takes, like going to bed 15 minutes earlier than you normally would to get settled in bed, right. You could do it on your lunch break. You could do it anywhere. um, Let me see. A prompt. Let's see. What truth about my life have I been avoiding because it would require me to change? Something like that. That's another version of what you lying to yourself about. Because that's
Mhm.
all it is. We make up things in our head, but it doesn't take 5 minutes to journal. It could take one sentence, one word. I remember one of my journal prompts, I had to laugh because I said, not today, period. And that was my journal
That's
prompt.
it.
It was.
Yeah.
And that is definitely a journal prompt. When people hear journaling, they think that you have to like write a dissertation, be pages long and take hours. No, it takes however much time you want it to take. But for newbies, I call them, set a 5 minute timer on your phone, 5 minutes. Answer that prompt. It might take less than 5 minutes for you to answer that prompt. You don't have to go deep every time.
Mhm. What do you want viewers to feel and do by the end of this episode today? One emotion, one action.
Empowered
Mhm.
and start journaling. Because like I said, if anybody's familiar, if you're not familiar with me, come get familiar with me. But you will see that I don't mind telling what I have gone through, what I've done. I've done a lot of stuff to get to help you, because a lot of people feel like they're alone with whatever they're going through, and it feels lonely, like, oh my God, I'm the only one in the world going through this, but you're really not. And the reason why we think that is because a lot of people don't talk about what they went through. They just say, oh, I went through this and let me show you. No, I'm going to tell you, girl, Shawnti did this, she did that, she did this, she said this. So you could feel like, no, you're not alone. There's a plenty of us out here. It's just very few of us who would actually say, yeah, I did that. And come on, you see me now. If I can overcome that, you can too. So no, you're not alone. And I want you to start journaling, start guided journaling. If anyone needs a boost in that, come DM me. My inbox is open. I would tell you, hey, tell me what you're going through. If you trust me enough, it's all about trust. If you don't trust me, I can't help you.
Yeah.
So
Can you, is Refuge your real last name?
it's on my driver's license. Yes.
like I feel like it was written already for you to be doing what you're doing. You found refuge in your trials
I
and
did.
created a space for others to be able to heal from your experiences, which also speaks to what it looks like to come to you for healing.
When I tell you, okay, first, that's my married last name.
Okay.
And I hated it. I did not want to change my name to that because it sounded like a gimmick. But then it did to me. But that is my name is Shawnti, and my daddy named me. My first name means peace. So, and I didn't know that. It took some people to tell me, do you know what your name means? No. Your name means peace in my language. Oh, okay, peace. And then refuge, we all know what refuge means. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay, God, I see you. So even though I'm not married no more, but I kept that last name because it has a purpose. So yeah, that's my last name.
I love that. I love that. Now, as we wrap this interview up, I would love for you to share anything that you have coming up that you'd like us to kind of follow you for, your any initiatives, anything that you want us to know that we can continue.
Absolutely. First, y'all can follow me on all platforms. Just type in Shawnti Refuge. I'm going to pop up somewhere. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. I'm everywhere. Come to my website, get to know me a little more. You can also, I have a Her Story event coming up. I'm a part of that. It's going to be at Lit Java in Pearland, 5018 Broadway. That's on March 13th. And we are going to, it's free, a free event. You cannot pass up free. Come and get fed. It's not just myself, but it's like 7 or 8 other authors who are telling their story, basically. So you get it from every angle, professional, spiritual, emotional, all of that. You get it. You're going to get it. Come get fed.
Okay, and lastly, tell us how we can find you.
You can find me everywhere. ShawntiRefugeJournals.com, my website. You could go to ShawntiRefuge.com. You could go to motheringinthedark.com. .com. Just Google me and everything will come up.
Shawnti Refuge, thank you so much for being my guest here today on Amplify with Amanda Sapp. I really appreciate you. I hope that a viewer or listener that tunes into this broadcast says to themselves, today I'm going to find refuge and I'm going to start.
Absolutely. Please do. Because it depends. Your life depends on it, literally.
We really appreciate you. Hey, everyone, please make sure you're following our movement. Go to LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and search Asapp Media Group, where you can find all Amanda Sapp, Amplify with Amanda Sapp episodes, and hear more shows like this. We'll just have a Shawnti Refuge. Thank you so much again for being my guest here today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.